Well, we probably all know someone in their 50s or 60s who's more active than most 20-year-olds. Baby boomers are embracing their adventurous lifestyles, especially during retirement. So let's talk more about this trend with Greg Taylor, of course, from Retirement Legacy. And you know, Greg, whenever I see these kind of active boomers, I always think, I'm not even that active now, but I hope I'm that active when I retire, right? I want to be them and have that energy.
Well, you know, we have people that are taking their grandkids down to Disney World, but one of my favorites is one client, his bucket list item was to go skydiving. And so he brought in the video for me, and it was awesome. Now, I can't say, Kristen said I'm not allowed to do it. She said, unless I up my life insurance.
I was just going to say, yeah, you're not the insurance provider.
Whether it be golfing or doing things like, you know, we love zip lining, you know, slalom skiing, you know, people going to Colorado and snow skiing. It's just, you know, being active, being busy and out enjoying whatever you're passionate about is really just a great way to live retirement.
Yeah, and you know, the Associated Press actually had an article on that very topic saying boomers are taking up extreme sports. So you mentioned scuba diving, off-road biking. I mean, is this something too you're seeing your current clients do?
Oh, absolutely, they're doing that. And you know, they're going, one of our clients just bought a boat and they sold their house. They're living on the boat.
Okay.
They're sailing from Maine all the way down to Florida and just think, wow, how cool. Another one of our clients,
that's really cool,
sold her a condo, and she and a friend, they're traveling the country in a motorhome.
All right.
So whether it be those kind of things, extreme sports, just being active, busy, enjoying life.
Well, in order to do all that, we need money, right? Unfortunately.
You do.
So, and you need a plan. Obviously, the whole hope is to save enough that you can do all of these things during your golden years. But there's more to it than that, right?
Well, there really is. And, you know, sometimes people come in with the idea, well, you know, I'm going to retire. I'm not going to spend as much as I did when I was working. And we find it to be the contrary.
Right.
That now you have time, and if you still have your health, you're going to be out there, you're going to be busy, you're going to be doing the things we just talked about, loving life, and that costs money.
Yeah.
So you have to budget for that. And so creating a budget, having a solid investment plan where you're not going to take big losses, and having an income plan that you know you're not going to outlive your assets is probably the most important part of a good retirement plan.
Okay, so we look at all these active seniors. What are some of the lessons that maybe we can learn from them? Because obviously they did something right to be able to have this lifestyle, right?
Well, they did. First thing, they did not sacrifice the future on the altar of the immediate. In other words, everything wasn't about immediate satisfaction. I think that's a real danger of some of the group coming behind us, is that they are, in a lot of cases, not all, but in a lot of cases, they're not saving money and they're not going to have enough in the nest egg. You know, Social Security is just not going to be enough.
Right.
If you don't have a pension, what are you going to do? Some people, like a family I talked to last week, I just said, look, you can't retire.
Yeah.
You can't afford
That's
to.
hard news to give to somebody.
That's hard news, and I hate to tell people that.
Right.
But I'd rather than be real than get there and not be able to live.
Exactly. Oh, that's tough. All right. So you say the magic phrase, this is what we're trying to say today, is stress-free retirement. That is what we want, Greg.
Yes.
It's not a pipe dream. So how do we make it a reality for people?
Well, you have to plan in 5 core areas. Get your investments right, have a solid income plan, make sure taxes aren't going to eat you up. Healthcare. If you're going to retire before 65, before you're eligible for Medicare, got to know how you're going to pay for that health insurance.
Right.
All those things are big keys. And so what we like to do is get good information in people's hands. And I wrote a book called Winning Retirement. The first 25 callers today, we're going to send the book complimentary and hope it'll be a help.
And Greg, you do that, and then you also, you know, have something called the Complete Planning Review. If people come in, they can make sure that they're not going to be sitting across from you one day hearing, you can't retire, right?
That's right. You know, and we just want to see if something's slipping through the cracks, and that's what that review is all about.
Okay. All right. We have all the information that has been up on screen to call Legacy Retirement Group. So, Greg, thank you as always.
You're welcome.